The story begins at the Royal Academy of Magic. A boy named Alto Goldfield fails his summoning exam. If he doesn't form a contract with the familiar by the next day, he won't be able to move on to the second year. His childhood friend Lilia is surprised to hear this because Alto has perfect grades in every subject. Alto reassures her that he still has time and will try one last time. He goes to the library to find a solution. Suddenly, a book falls off the shelf and hits his head. Curious, he takes the book home and follows the instructions inside for a summoning ritual. To his shock, a naked demon girl named Vermeil appears. They form a contract, and Vermeil kisses him to drain his mana. She tries to seduce him, but Alto refuses and tells her to put on clothes. He's confused. Why would a demon become his familiar? According to history, demons always destroy humans. Vermeil explains that she was sealed inside the book, and Alto freed her. Since Alto has strong magic, she decides to serve him out of gratitude. The next day, Vermeil hides her horns and tail to look human. Their teacher is skeptical because there's no record of a human being summoned as a familiar. However, Vermeil proves it by revealing a magic crest on her chest, forcing the teacher to accept her. Lilia, watching from a distance, becomes jealous. During class, Vermeil sits on Alto's lap and flirts with him. Later, Lilia confronts Alto, saying she dislikes Vermeil. She challenges them to a duel. If Lilia wins, Vermeil must stay away from Alto. But if Alto wins, Lilia will have to follow one command from him. The duel takes place on a floating platform and all the students watch. Lilia summons her familiar, Sylphid, a high-class wind spirit. She combines her magic with Sylphid's power, launching a powerful attack at Alto. But Vermeil directly counters, using magic that flusters Lilia so much that all the students hear her sigh. Alto wins the duel and orders Lilia to befriend Vermeil. Later, Vermeil tells Alto that Lilia is in love with him, but he doesn't believe her. She kisses him again to absorb mana, warning that she will disappear without it. She hints at a more effective way to replenish mana, but Alto quickly stops her, saying a kiss is enough. The next day, as they walk to school, Alto warns Vermeil not to draw attention. Suddenly, a dragon goes on a rampage. Vermeil stops it effortlessly with a flick of her hand, sending it flying into the sky. During the opening ceremony for second-year students, Vermeil catches the attention of many boys, who are curious about her, well as certain assets. Meanwhile, the owner of the dragon and his older brother Rex arrive, seeking revenge. But while they're distracted, Alto sneaks behind them and traps them in a crystal prison. Rex, a fifth-year student, summons a dinosaur as his familiar and orders it to attack. However, Vermeil boosts Alto's mana, allowing him to unleash an even stronger crystal magic attack, defeating Rex. Later at home, Vermeil asks Alto about his dream. He tells her he wants to become a great magician. In this world, there are 4 apprentice ranks: bronze, silver, gold, but Alto aims even higher. He wants to become a platinum-ranked magician. Vermeil admires his ambition and promises to help him achieve it. The next day, Alto, Vermeil, and Lilia meet up with their friends, Marcus and Cheryl. Marcus comes from a noble family, and he is impressed that Alto managed to defeat a fifth-year student. Their teacher arrives and informs them that the headmaster has summoned them. When they meet the headmaster, he announces that one of them will be chosen as the student representative. However, they must first pass a special test. Whoever retrieves the fairy flower from the forest will become the class representative. Marcus quickly summons his familiar and rushes ahead, but he gets attacked by a man-eating plant. Cheryl stays behind to help him while the others continue searching for the flower. Eventually, they spot it at the top of a mountain, but a fierce Cerberus guards the entrance. Lilia drinks an invisibility potion, planning to sneak past Cerberus. However, her clothes remain visible. She panics at the thought of being seen naked, but has no choice but to continue. As she approaches, Cerberus senses her and detects her presence. Alto quickly distracts Cerberus while shouting for Lilia to grab the flower. Suddenly, Vermeil appears from above and unleashes her demonic power, causing a massive explosion. Lilia successfully grabs the flower and returns to the others. She admits defeat and tries to hand it over to Alto, but she becomes flustered and accidentally drops it. The wind carries the flower away, right into Cheryl's hands. In the end, Cheryl is declared the winner, and everyone congratulates her. On their way to school, Vermeil enjoys eating a crepe for the first time. Having been sealed away for centuries, she never had the chance to taste modern food before. Meanwhile, the students look up at the sky in awe as the leader of the Dragon Riders, Chris Westland, arrives. Larkus explains how incredible Chris is. Not only is she the leader of the Dragon Riders, but she is also an executive in the student council and one of the 7 gold-ranked students at the academy. Alto is amazed that Chris already achieved a gold rank while still a student. He hopes to become like the student council president, who is rumored to be close to reaching platinum rank. Vermeil assures him it's possible while playfully choking him, but Lilia quickly pushes her away, and the two start bickering over Alto again. Alto scolds them, warning that they might get into trouble with the student council. But Vermeil confidently declares that she will defeat anyone in Alto's way, helping him reach gold rank in no time. As they continue walking, the student council suddenly appears before them. Chris stares at Vermeil. curious about who she is. Meanwhile, Rex gets beaten by Chris after she learns he lost to Alto. She is embarrassed that Rex's familiar is just a dinosaur and not a dragon, so she kicks him out of the Dragon Riders. Later, Alto hears that Rex was sent to the hospital and decides to visit him. Alto soon realizes what happened and heads to the dueling platform with Vermeil. There, Chris confronts them. She gives Alto a chance to back out, but he and Vermeil are determined to fight. Chris summons her dragon familiar, while Alto powers up his mana. He launches a powerful crystal attack, which impresses Chris, but she easily counters it with a single blast. She fires another shot, and Vermeil is forced to block it. Alto quickly retaliates, unleashing a barrage of giant crystals at Chris, causing a huge explosion. Thinking the battle is over, Alto sighs in relief, until Chris rises from the smoke, riding her dragon. She boasts that dragons are the greatest creatures, far superior to all others. She commands fireballs to rain down from above, forcing Vermeil to shield Alto while urging him to build up more mana. Determined to prove Chris wrong, Alto and Vermeil use crystal shards to leap toward her. Before Chris can react, Alto lands the final blow, winning the duel. Following his victory, Alto becomes even more popular with the girls, which makes Lilia increasingly jealous. Meanwhile, Chris meets with Rex and surprises him by apologizing for her actions. Rex is shocked to hear such words from her, but the two reconcile. Later that night, Vermeil tries to seduce Alto again, but he stops her, saying that a kiss should be shared only with someone you truly love. Vermeil then confesses that she really does love him. The next day, Alto appears deep in thought, while Vermeil looks unusually refreshed. He remembers her confession, causing his face to turn red. Still confused, he visits Professor Obsidian and asks if demons can truly fall in love with humans. Obsidian replies that demons are only interested in humans for their mana. After hearing this, Alto becomes suspicious. He confronts Vermeil, asking if she only loves him because of his mana. To prove herself, Vermeil kisses him without absorbing any mana and reassures him that she genuinely likes him. Meanwhile, Obsidian meets a female student in private. She confesses her love for him, and he hugs her. However, he secretly holds a strange-looking syringe. Later, the girl is found frozen in her room. She is rescued but left in a coma. The student council launches an investigation, led by Vice President Ryu Vishinoji and Executive Jessica Schwartz. They reveal that this is the fourth student to fall into a coma under mysterious circumstances. Elsewhere, Alto is assigned to write a report about his familiar. Meanwhile, Lilia and Cheryl stand outside her room. Lilia, determined to get closer to Alto, has another invisibility potion and a copy of his room key. She hands her clothes to Cheryl and sneaks into the boys' dormitory. She unlocks Alto's door and enters, but as he walks toward her, she panics. However, he only picks up a book, unaware of her presence. While searching for the right book, he unknowingly touches Lilia, leaving her completely stunned. Later, Alto finishes his report, listing all the things Vermeil likes. At the same time, Chris and her dragon are defeated by a seemingly possessed Rex and his mutated dinosaurs. A flashback shows when Rex first summoned his familiar. He was thrilled by its size, which even caught the attention of a young Chris. This was when their friendship first began. Meanwhile, Alto and Vermeil are out shopping for groceries when they are suddenly interrupted. Rex's brother appears, panicked and begging them for help. Chris continues to struggle against Rex as he relentlessly attacks her. She tries to fight back by shooting fireballs, but Rex absorbs the flames, and his body begins to mutate even further. Just then, Alto and Vermeil arrive, telling him to stop. Ignoring them, Rex throws Chris aside and turns his rage toward Alto, seeking revenge for their earlier fight. As Rex's power spirals out of control, Vermeil recognizes something familiar about it. Meanwhile, Alto's hands start to glow, and Vermeil prepares to fight. Before anything happens, the student council president, Elena, arrives, wielding her sword familiar. With a few swift slashes, she knocks Rex down and destroys his monstrous mutation. As Rex lies unconscious, his brother rushes over to him in concern. 3 days later, the student council holds a meeting, marking this as the 5th strange incident. They suspect that someone is using drugs or black magic to manipulate students. Meanwhile, Alto and Lilia are informed about their upcoming exam for the bronze rank. Vermeil, feeling tired, decides to return to the dormitory. Seeing this as a perfect opportunity to be alone with Alto, Lilia offers to study with him as an excuse. On her way back to the dorm, Vermeil encounters Professor Obsidian. She immediately calls him out, accusing him of being behind the recent incidents. Obsidian pretends to be innocent, but Vermeil isn't fooled. She reveals that she can smell a low-level demon on him and warns him to stop his actions. She threatens that if he ever harms Alto, she will kill him. As Vermeil walks away, a paper doll floats by. Suddenly, Obsidian appears behind her and injects a syringe into her neck. Vermeil immediately feels intense pain as dark energy spirals out of control. At that moment, Alto clutches his glowing hand, feeling a stabbing pain. A massive explosion erupts outside, and he instantly realizes Vermeil is in danger. He rushes to find her as dark energy spreads across the school. The sky turns black, alerting Elena, who hurries to the scene. However, a swarm of multiplying paper dolls forms a monstrous creature, blocking her path. saying it cannot let her pass. Meanwhile, Vermeil has transformed into a terrifying winged demon. Obsidian uses his magic to bind a magical chain around her neck, controlling her. When Alto and Lilia arrive, Obsidian proudly shows off his control over Vermeil, forcing her to kneel. Alto is horrified by the sight. Obsidian then boasts that he was the mastermind behind the student attacks. He confesses that he injected students with demonic essence, attempting to turn them into demons. Seeing Vermeil under Obsidian's control, Alto becomes furious. A surge of magical energy explodes from him, sending a wave of power toward Vermeil. In an instant, she breaks free from the chains and lunges at Obsidian. But before she can reach him, Alto steps in the way, and her claws impale him. Seeing Alto injured causes Vermeil to lose control completely. She transforms into an even more ferocious form, attacking Obsidian again. However, Alto, despite his wounds, stops her once more. He gently calms her down, and Vermeil, overwhelmed with emotion, begins to cry and reverts to her original form. As Alto takes his last breath, Vermeil desperately kisses him. Miraculously, the wound in his chest heals, bringing him back to life. Shocked by the unexpected turn of events, Obsidian injects himself with his formula, transforming into a monstrous demon. He attacks with a drill-like punch, but Vermeil counters with a single devastating strike, obliterating half of his body. Obsidian is stunned by her overwhelming power. Desperate to survive, he attempts to escape by leaving his body. However, before he can flee, Chris appears on her dragon and blasts him. Vermeil finishes the fight with one final punch, sending Obsidian crashing to the ground. His demonic body fades away completely. Moments later, Alto regains consciousness. Lilia, relieved that he is alive, bursts into tears. Meanwhile, the creature fighting Elena retreats, warning that they will meet again. Vermeil then turns to Alto and apologizes for killing him. She explains, with deep sadness, that she only managed to revive him by giving him a demon's heart and connecting their life forces. Now, if one of them dies, the other will as well. Additionally, Alto's heart now relies on Vermeil's mana to function. Feeling ashamed of her monstrous form, Vermeil begins to distance herself from Alto, believing she is unworthy of being with him. However, Alto refuses to accept this. He angrily tells her that he doesn't care about any of that. Without hesitation, he kisses her. He boldly declares that he is not afraid and that they will always be together. Realizing Alto truly loves her, Vermeil blushes. Meanwhile, Lilia, after witnessing everything, finally understands the truth. Vermeil is a demon. Vermeil apologized for lying and felt guilty that Alto was hurt because of her. However, Lilia didn't care that Vermeil was a demon. She knew Vermeil wasn't evil and that her feelings for Alto were real. Lilia comforted her, saying she trusted Alto to keep Vermeil in check if she ever lost control again. That night, Vermeil returned to Alto's room and apologized once more, but Alto, feeling relieved that everything was okay, told her not to worry. They made up and shared a kiss. The next day, Vermeil received her school uniform, but it didn't quite fit. Meanwhile, at the church, a powerful platinum mage named Heliodor and a former platinum mage, Iolite, were communicating through a paper doll. They casually discussed Obsidian's failure at the academy. Back at school, Vermeil's new look caught the attention of all the boys, who couldn't stop staring. They even praised Alto for bringing her to class, but their moment was interrupted when the student council suddenly arrived and took Alto and Vermeil into custody. Alto started to panic, wondering if they had discovered that Vermeil was a demon. He nervously asked why they were being detained. Elena, the student council president, apologized for not being able to help them during their battle with Obsidian, but she explained that their reason for detaining them was even more serious. Elena then asked if they were keeping any secrets. With no other choice, Alto admitted that Vermeil was a demon and revealed that their life forces were now connected. The council members were shocked, but Alto assured them that Vermeil was not evil and that he would do anything to protect her. Jessica, one of the council members, believed that Vermeil was too dangerous, but Elena trusted Alto and decided to help him keep Vermeil's secret, though she noted that if she wanted to, she could easily kill Alto. Afterward, Elena offered Alto a position as an executive in the student council. Alto assumed she just wanted to keep an eye on him, but she reminded him that he had already proven his strength by defeating Chris in their duel. After some thought, Alto accepted the offer and shared the news with his friends. They were surprised, but Marcus was proud of him and Lilia congratulated him. However, Alto started to worry. Now that more people knew about Vermeil's true nature, he needed to become stronger to protect her. Vermeil also warned him to be cautious around the student council, as she suspected Elena might not be an ordinary human. The next day, Alto attended his first student council meeting but accidentally walked in while the girls were changing. Jessica, startled, wanted to punish him, but Elena dismissed it, saying it was their fault for not locking the door. Afterward, Elena showed the group a strange piece of paper, the remains of the creature she had fought. Chris tried to examine it, but Elena explained that it contained an extremely advanced magical formula, so even a team of gold-level mages couldn't decipher it. This led them to conclude that their enemy was at the platinum level. Meanwhile, Iolite and Heliodor met with another platinum sorcerer, Kohakumia. They had provided her with demon parts for her experiments. Iolite complained about how troublesome it was to collect them, but he still had more work to do. He then informed Heliodor that their next targets were Alto and Vermeil. That night, Alto had a strange dream. He saw a young Vermeil crying in a ruined city. A mysterious woman appeared before him and told him he had to choose. Would he save humanity or destroy it to protect Vermeil? Alto suddenly woke up feeling shaken. Worried about his upcoming bronze exam, he focused on studying. The next day, Alto gathered his things for the exam. As he was packing, he noticed the book that had once sealed Vermeil. Feeling uneasy, he quickly took it with him. Lilia, meanwhile, observed that they were starting to stand out among the students. After all, their academy was one of the most prestigious in the world. The students gathered in the exam hall for their practical test. In front of them was a large crystal ball with fire burning inside it. The examiner explained that their task was simple. They had to pour their mana into the fire and make it grow stronger. The first student stepped forward to take the test, but he failed to affect the flame. The next student, who had a powerful bear familiar, also tried, but he failed as well. Then it was Lilia's turn. She didn't focus on the crystal like the others. Instead, she concentrated on the flame itself. With ease, she enlarged the fire, impressing everyone. Another student successfully followed her example. After that, Cheryl and Marcus also passed the test. Finally, it was Alto's turn. He carefully analyzed the crystal and realized that the best way to supply mana was from behind. The examiner was impressed. Alto had figured out the real purpose of the test. Vermeil encouraged him to show off a little, and he agreed. Alto chose the most difficult spot to channel his mana. He poured his energy into the flame, causing it to grow bigger and turn silver. The examiners were stunned. But Alto didn't stop. He kept increasing the fire's intensity until the crystal cracked and shattered completely. Realizing what he had done, Alto felt embarrassed and quickly apologized. However, the examiner told him not to worry. He had passed with full marks. The examiner also revealed that the crystal was designed to withstand powerful magic, even from platinum-level mages, making Alto's feat even more astonishing. After the practical test, the students prepared for the written exam. Before it began, Vermeil pulled Alto aside to help replenish his mana. However, this almost made him late for the exam. Meanwhile, Iolite, a mysterious mage, killed a student from another school and stole his exam ticket to sneak in. Alto rushed to the exam hall, making it just in time. As he took his seat, Iolite unexpectedly sat beside him and casually wished him luck. The exam started, and Alto tried to focus, but he got distracted when he noticed Iolite had already fallen asleep. Alto ignored him and concentrated on the test. However, he quickly realized the questions were much harder than in previous years. Then Iolite suddenly woke up. In just a few seconds, he finished the entire test effortlessly. He looked at Alto and mocked him for being too slow. When they were caught talking, they were warned to be quiet, but Iolite didn't care at all. Suddenly, a guard rushed into the room, reporting that a student's dead body had been found. The examiners quickly realized that Iolite was an imposter. Lolite laughed and summoned a massive stone golem. He revealed that he had taken the exam just for fun and that his real goal was Alto. Alto was shocked. He realized that Iolite had been working with Obsidian all along. One of the examiners stepped in to protect the professor, and Vermeil jumped through a window to attack with her demonic magic, but the golem blocked her attack. It was then revealed that Iolite was the youngest platinum-ranked mage, known as one of the strongest. Outside, Lily and the others tried to help, but they found that the entire building was surrounded by a magical barrier created by Heliodor, preventing them from entering. Inside, Iolite transformed his golem, equipping it with multiple cannons. Alto attempted to fight back, but the golem blocked all his attacks. The battle intensified, and soon, the entire building was destroyed. In the chaos, Vermeil was captured. Seeing Vermeil in danger, Alto's golden mana flared up. He unleashed a powerful attack, destroying the golem in a single strike. Determined to protect Vermeil, Alto's power reached new heights. Lolite, realizing the situation, summoned his knight and managed to stab Alto. He then revealed his true goal, to use Vermeil's demonic powers to destroy the world. Furious, Alto's magic surged again. At the same time, Vermeil transformed into her demonic form. However, before she could act, Iolite used a powerful spell to chain her, sealing her abilities and forcing her back into human form. Iolite prepared to finish off Alto. But just then, the book that had once sealed Vermeil suddenly blocked the attack. A mysterious woman appeared, the same one Alto had seen in his dream. She was the legendary mage who had originally sealed Vermeil. Without warning, she sent Alto into Vermeil's memories. Alto found himself 550 years in the past. He saw a young Vermeil being raised by a nun alongside other people. Despite knowing she was a demon, they loved her and treated her like family. But one day, the townspeople discovered the truth about Vermeil. They blamed her for a plague that had spread through the village and attacked the church where she lived. Vermeil's sister urged her to run. She hesitated, but eventually tried to escape the town. However, as she left, she overheard the villagers saying they would kill her family. Terrified, Vermeil rushed back, only to find her entire family had been hanged. Overcome with grief and rage, Vermeil lost control and transformed into her demon form for the first time. Enraged, she destroyed the entire town, burning it to the ground and leaving behind only a giant crater. Alto was horrified by what he had seen. The legendary mage told him that this was Vermeil's crime, the reason she had been sealed away. Unlike before, Alto could interact with Vermeil in this memory. He approached her and comforted her. Vermeil, now in her adult form, cried, saying that her sins could never be forgiven. But Alto told her that he didn't care. He would always be by her side. They shared a kiss, and in that moment, the magical chains binding Vermeil shattered. Back in the real world, Iolite summoned another golem, fusing it with his knight. He claimed that Vermeil's only purpose was to destroy the world, but Alto had had enough. He told Iolite to shut up. He didn't understand the real Vermeil at all. Alto and Vermeil combined their powers, launching a devastating crystal attack. Their magic clashed with the golem's attack, but in the end, Alto's power overwhelmed and destroyed it. Low Light, caught off guard, realized he had underestimated Alto. He prepared to cast another spell, but before he could, Heliodor appeared from a portal. She told Iolite that she couldn't maintain the space warp any longer. Iolite was frustrated but had no choice but to retreat. Before leaving, he warned Alto that their fight wasn't over. He would return. The legendary mage appeared once more. She called Vermeil a good friend and urged Alto to protect her. Before disappearing, she repaired the destroyed building as a final farewell. Lilia rushed to Alto, relieved that he was safe. A few days later, Alto trained hard to become stronger so he could protect Vermeil. He practiced sword fighting with Jessica and martial arts with Chris. Though he lost to both of them, he was determined to improve. One evening, Vermeil thanked Alto for accepting her for who she was. She then confessed that she loved him too. Alto was overjoyed, and they shared a heartfelt hug. Moving forward, at the next student council meeting, Elena announced that after the recent attack, their top priority was protecting the students. Even though they were up against a powerful platinum mage, they had to work together to stop future threats. Everyone agreed. Meanwhile, Lilia, Marcus, and Cheryl celebrated passing their bronze rank exam. But when Alto didn't show up, Lilia grew suspicious. Was he off doing something with Vermeil? And with that, this story comes to an end. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching and see you next time.